Imran Khan has been ousted as Prime Minister of Pakistan after losing a no-confidence motion in Parliament. Key points: opposition parties were able to secure 174 votes in the 342-member House. Opposition parties were able to secure 174 votes in the 342-member House. The country's lower house will now elect a new Prime Minister and government. The country's lower house will now elect a new Prime Minister and government. No Pakistani Prime Minister has ever completed a full term. Pakistan's lower house of parliament voted in favor of removing him from office following a nearly 14-hour standoff between the opposition and Mr. Khan's ruling party that started on Saturday morning. The former cricketer had tried to block the motion from going ahead by dissolving parliament, but that was ruled unconstitutional by Pakistan's highest court. After a late-night session of parliament, a majority of MPs voted for the resolution to remove Mr. Khan as the country's leader. Opposition parties were able to secure 174 votes in the 342-member House in support of the no-confidence motion, the House Speaker said, making it a majority vote. There were just a few legislators of Mr. Khan's ruling Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf party present for the process. The vote means Mr. Khan will no longer hold office, and the country's lower house will now elect a new Prime Minister and government. The Pakistani Parliament's lower house will meet on Monday to vote for a new Prime Minister, the acting Speaker said. Is Sadiq, presiding over the Assembly session in the absence of the ruling party members and its designated speakers, said nomination papers for candidates should be filed by 11 a.m. local time on Sunday. Opposition leader Shahbaz Sharif is the front-runner to become Pakistan's new Prime Minister. Opposition leader Shahbaz Sharif is the front-runner to lead the nuclear-armed nation of 220 million, where the military has ruled for half its history. Mr. Sharif, 70, the younger brother of three-time Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, has a reputation as an effective administrator. Supporters protest Khan's removal. Supporters of Mr. Khan gathered outside the National Assembly in Islamabad. The announcement of the vote's result on Sunday came after multiple adjournments in the lower house caused by members of Khan's party, who said there was a foreign conspiracy to oust the cricket star-turned-politician. Khan, 69, surged to power in 2018 with the military's support, but recently lost his parliamentary majority when allies quit his coalition government. No Pakistani Prime Minister has completed a full term. There were also signs he had lost the support of the military, analysts said. Opposition parties say he has failed to revive an economy battered by COVID-19 or fulfill promises to make Pakistan a corruption-free, prosperous nation respected on the world stage. Anticipating his loss, Mr. Khan called on his supporters to stage rallies nationwide on Sunday. Crowds gathered outside the National Assembly in Islamabad through the night, shouting slogans in support of Mr. Khan. In an impassioned speech on Friday, Mr. Khan doubled down on his accusations that his opponents colluded with the United States to unseat him over his foreign policy choices, which often seemed to favor China and Russia and defied the US. Mr. Khan said Washington opposed his February 24 meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin in the Kremlin hours after tanks rolled into Ukraine, launching a devastating war in the heart of Europe. Mr. Khan said his opponents colluded with the United States to unseat him over his foreign policy choices. The US State Department has denied any involvement in Pakistan's internal politics. Deputy State Department spokeswoman Jelena Porter told reporters on Friday there was absolutely no truth to these allegations. Still, Mr. Khan urged his supporters to take to the streets, particularly the youth, who have been the backbone of his support since the former cricket star, then a conservative Islamist politician, came to power in 2018. He said they needed to protect Pakistan's sovereignty and oppose US dictations. His ouster extends Pakistan's unwanted record for political instability. No Prime Minister has completed their full term since independence in 1947, although Mr. Khan is the first to be removed through a no-confidence vote. ABC Wires.